Good evening. It is January 29th, and this is Christy Leskovac, and we are in week 2 of our 6 Weeks to Success. Tonight's topic is going to be booking. So let me get our screen share started. Okay, here we go. Welcome to week 2. It's very exciting times. Last week, did anybody have anything they wanted to share from last week? We talked a lot. Were you able to listen to the recording, Maggie?
No, I have not done that yet.
Okay. That's what you'll want to do because these will build on each other. So we're going to go through, obviously, tonight. So you'll have this one. But before you do the homework from this particular week, I would recommend going back and listening to the recording from last week because they really build on each other.
Okay.
Bethany, do you have anything to share?
Well, that was a long time ago for me in baby days, but remember the homework, which I enjoyed listening to the call and just learning more about the products and stuff like that.
Good. Okay, well, one thing we talked about, you want to just share a little bit? We talked a lot about belief.
Yeah. Oh, I have my notes right here. I don't know why.
Why don't you share some top things that we talked about, just to kind of help Maggie kind of build on what our next.
Just the pillars to success, like believing in yourself, the passion, the skill, and the will. And then, your beliefs determine your actions, and your actions determine your results, which reinforce your beliefs. So, if you think negatively, like, I'm not going to be able to do this, or they're not going to want to book a party, then that's probably the result that you get. But if you think positively and think, I'm going to get, 3 bookings this week, for February, then you might not get 3, but you might get 2, and that'll reinforce your beliefs in yourself and, as a consultant, but also as with the company too.
Great job, Bethany. Great job. And you'll get more details, Maggie, on some of the exercises we went through as you listen to that recording. And then the homework really kind of went on product knowledge and selling skills, because if you're kind of not sure where you are belief-wise, but then you really listen to and understand our products, and another part of the homework too is just using your products, pulling out a new recipe, and really using your products and falling in love with those. Mm-hmm. So today's meeting is about prospecting, okay? The call on the products was amazing. Joe and Christina on that homework from last week shared great tips and selling skills like Bethany shared. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about really a few things now that moves into prospecting. So this is a cute little cartoon, okay? And really from the homework and really from just your kit, Maggie, I know you're even newer than Bethany, but it was exciting, right, when you got your box of products and when you were able to kind of go through those, and it's just like Christmas. Yeah. Hopefully you're just falling in love with those products as you pull them out and are using them in your kitchens. Okay, so I think this is kind of just even looking here, like if this doesn't help with your belief, like in our products and our mission and bringing families about back together around the table, I don't know what will get you excited, right? Hi, Jennifer. We're just getting started here. It's super easy to share what you're excited about once you're educated on it. So I think having those products and playing with them and using them and learning more about them really helps that. Now, our mission kind of goes along. There's some statistics I want to share with you because we have products, honestly, that will change people's lives. And here's some statistics that are really interesting. Did you know families who eat dinner together have children who do better on their SAT, ACT scores? Now Bethany's got this baby, Jennifer's got this baby and a little one, like you might think that's years from now, but it'll happen tomorrow. I'm just saying, because my kids, they're taller than me. So it was like just yesterday, they were tiny babies. These children are also less promiscuous, less apt to do drugs, smoke, or drink, all because they ate dinner together. Because what happens around the dinner table is communication. Now, I can tell you from personal experience, my kids are not perfect, but they are pretty darn close. I feel like we just have a close relationship, and we don't have every single dinner around the table all together. My husband travels. I work a couple of evenings a week. But it is important to make that a priority. And we have the tools that can help people make it a priority in their homes too. So when we have information like this, it's kind of hard not to share it. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's really exciting. Now, the other thing that's kind of cool is, I mean, when I started my business, we didn't have Food Network. We didn't have all these cooking shows on TV. Cooking is really a popular thing these days. People like to see and watch. To me, going to parties before I became a consultant was like a free cooking class, I felt like, because I was learning. I didn't cook much at home. So we really have a lot to offer. Now, what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about cooking parties kind of when you're out and about, and also when you're at your shows. Now, in either case, you want to have host packets ready all the time. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about this, but I use those little cellophane envelopes you can get from my girlfriend's house.com, the website. These are like the 9.5 or 9 by 11-ish or so. But I just put a couple catalogs in it. I put the Taste the Good Life brochure, which is the little, you should each have gotten these in your kit. They give you a stack of those in your kit. There is a little resource, a little kit coupon that basically shares with the host that she can use up to $50 for free product to buy down the cost of her kit. So have those in at all times, even in your vehicle. A lot of times when you're out and about, you might run into somebody and they're excited or they want to see a catalog. I always try to have at least 4 or 5 catalogs and then a couple of packets. Somebody's baby's going. So the other thing is recipe cards. We've talked about this on the team page and things too. You don't necessarily have to go and buy business cards right away. The recipe cards that you can get on our supply list, there's different ones that are available. I just put my contact information at the bottom. I have these in my car at all times, and I usually have a few of them in my purse. So those are the little ones in your diaper bag is a good place too, and because that way when you are out and about and you're having a conversation and somebody wants a catalog or they want to see want your information, you can give them the recipe card. They're more likely to keep the recipe card, okay, than they will a business card, all right? Also, what you want to have with you is just a small notebook. Just going to be a small little spiral bound notebook. This one has a Sprint thing on it, but just any kind of little small notebook. Why do you want to have this notebook, you think?
To get their contact information.
Exactly. And here's the thing. We'll talk a little bit more about this and words to say and how you do that. But if somebody asks you for a catalog, it's great when you give them a catalog, but it's even better when you get their contact information. And I've got, you can do the same thing with just a Post-it note. You can just take a regular Post-it note and put it on the front of your catalog. These are some, and at our team meetings, we do give out little, prizes or whatever, and these little stacks of Post-it notes are in there. So you can take one of these and stick it on the front of the envelope or on the front of your catalog, and then when somebody asks for a catalog, you can just hand them the catalog and hand them a pen and say, sure, can you go ahead and just leave me your contact information? That way I can just follow up with you, see if you have any questions. It's very non-threatening. And I mean, here's the thing. These catalogs cost about 47 cents a piece, when you buy 100 of them. And you can't just be giving them away. And honestly, people aren't wanting to just rip you off. I know that. But they get busy too. People are just busy. And they may fully intend to place an order. But if it doesn't rank up into their top priority of that day, it might be a few days or even down the road, and the catalog might be put underneath something and might actually get thrown out by somebody else that lives in the house. But if you have their information, because this is your business, you could call and say, hey, Jennifer, it's Christy with Pampered Chef. I met you at Walmart down the brownie aisle when we were chatting. Hey, have you had a chance to look at that catalog I gave you? Make sense? So that's why it's really important. Great when you can give information out, but even better if you can get their information. Even if you just get their phone number or even if you just get their email address. Better to get both, okay? The other thing is logo wear. And though I know, Jennifer, you did message me. You're like, is there any of that logo wear left? Because you're going to be at the meeting on Monday. And yes, there is. And I'll tell you what, people see it. Whether it's a hat that says Pampered Chef, a shirt that says Pampered Chef, people will see that. And people will, when they see it, they usually say something. And that's a good way just to introduce. I've booked bridal showers. One gal, actually she's a repeat host several times over. She was a cashier at Old Navy and saw my hat, and she was going to be getting married. And so we did a bridal shower for her, and she's hosted about 3 other shows since then. So it's kind of fun. So there are consultant wear available on Consultants Corner as well. Okay. So it's easy to share that way when you're, when you have the logo wear. But here's what we got to think about. And this kind of goes back a little bit to our beliefs. Okay. Because sometimes our beliefs, it can be a little intimidating sometimes to strike up conversations, right? In down a brownie aisle of the store, or just while you're out and about, or while you're standing in the line. But we're really not, and this little cartoon is just kind of funny. Maybe I'm crazy. But really, if you think about the fact that we have so many solutions to people's problems, if you just post on your Facebook about, hey, what are you making for dinner tonight? Or, hey, what's your number one stress at dinner time? A lot of times it's just people, they'll share with you. First of all, a lot of times it's like, I get bored. I don't know what to make. So we can offer solutions to those, okay? So we can't be selfish, right? Okay. If you think about it too, how many of you have some of those struggles? You standing in front of the refrigerator going, what am I making for dinner tonight?
Oh, yeah. It was like 5 o'clock last night. My husband was like, what are we having for dinner? And I was like, I don't know.
And we are the Pampered Chef Consultant. So, yeah. But I think so many people can relate to that. Or it's like, oh, shoot, it's 3:30 and I didn't take anything out of the freezer. Breakfast, dinner.
Yeah, we do more than I like to admit.
Breakfast, dinner?
Yeah.
You can vary it up. You can vary it up from eggs to pancakes to breakfast burritos, we did breakfast burritos the other day too. But if you think about it, if we struggle with even what to make, at least we have the great tools to make it. And I think a lot of times people stress out because they don't necessarily have the tools. They don't have the quick and easy recipes. And a lot of times, honestly, people just get bored with what they're going to make. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about when you're out and about. And you do get people's, this is just some examples of what you can say when you are out and about. This is like the brownie pan example, or the brownie mix example, if you're going down the aisle. I don't have to read it to you. You can read this. But it's one of those things where if you can, this happens to be double chocolate cheesecake squares. But just find even an older season's best, or find a season's best. I'm sure if you have 1 or 2 of them at your house, there's got to be a season's best in there that has a brownie mix required. But that's why this kind of dialogue is good. Okay. And this again is just an example of what you can say. Or as you're standing in the line at the grocery store, right? Now, what's interesting is none of the people in these pictures have kids, because when my 4 kids were all under kindergarten age, I had 4 of them at the time going to the grocery store, because at the time I had a business, but I realized I could go to the grocery store with my kids. It wasn't as easy. It wasn't as efficient, but I could not make phone calls when my kids were home and awake. So I would rather, when my husband was home to tend to the kids, or when they were napping, that was my work time. So, and I used it kind of as a learning experience. My kids had to learn how to behave. I would have them help me look for things. Again, it was one of those things where a lot of times when I was standing in lines, when my kids were little, I had kids with me. So sometimes I had them having recipe cards or a catalog, or, I gave them kind of tools, because a lot of times these people, when you are standing in a line like this, they're going to be looking at cute kids and they're going to be talking to them, and your kids can be really good helpers too as they start talking, and can share with people too. So as you're standing in the checkout line, you could say something like, I can't wait to try these brownies at home. They look amazing, and she might ask, as you're carrying on a conversation, especially if you're a little wear on. But if you don't, I'm going to try this new recipe, and you're saying that, she's like, oh, what is it? And Pampered Chef comes up, and most of the time people will say, what?
Oh, I love Pampered Chef.
Chef. Yeah, right? So, and if they get really excited about them, ask them, have you been to a Pampered Chef party lately? honest to goodness truth, most people at my shows lately are out and about. They haven't been to a party in like 4 or 5 years. Like, where have you guys been? I go to a couple of weeks. So, but it's really, it's honest to goodness truth. People haven't been to a party lately. And if they haven't been to a party lately, it's changed so much just in the last few years. So we have to be really ready to share our excitement for it and just ask them, would you, well, let me go back. If you ask them if they've been to a party lately and they say no, say, oh my gosh, you should consider getting some friends together. We'll come to your house and you can show your friends. It's so fun. Or just say, hey, give me your contact information. I'd love to add you to my list so when I have some events going on, you're welcome to come along with me. Or if you're having an event at your house. Honest to goodness, this is the time of year, and we're going to be challenging our entire team to book your own party mid to end of February. Because what's coming March 1st, I know you guys are all new, but I want to make sure you are aware. March 1st is our new spring catalog. Okay? That includes new spring products. That includes new recipes. The new spring products are amazing. I got my boxes yesterday, and I can't wait till next Monday, a week from tomorrow, to share them with you. Okay? You will be thrilled. They're fantastic. So be prepared to ask someone, or be prepared when somebody asks what you do, to really be able to share with them what you do. Okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about sharing your story now, because as you're out and about, I think one of the reasons that most of us get a little nervous when we're out and about is because you're not exactly sure what to say. And probably most of us have kind of a little bit like a bumbling, blah, 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 because we haven't practiced it, right? So here's some things. And a 20-second commercial is not, oh, I sell Pampered Chef. Okay? That can sound exciting, or, people might say, oh, I love Pampered Chef, but look at some of these ideas. What is it you do? Oh, I help create mealtime memories with quality tools and tasty recipes. Teach busy families how to get dinner on the table in less than 30 minutes. What mom at the grocery store with her kids does not want to learn more about that? Right? I help people realize that cooking can be fun when you have the right tools. I help people discover their inner Rachel Ray.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that fun?
Inner Bobby Flay.
Yeah. Now, what do you suppose happens when you say this to somebody?
They probably get pretty excited.
Now, granted, if you have Pampered Chef logo wear on, they may know. But if they ask what you do, like as you're in that brownie aisle and you're just talking recipes, and they say, well, what do you do? And you're saying, hey, I help people discover their inner Rachel Ray. Probably the next thing out of their mouth is, how? Or what do you mean? Right? So you can ask for clarification, and it just gets a dialogue going. Okay? And of course, like we said already before, most people say, I love Pampered Chef. Good thing we're not a lawyer. This is kind of a little funny, because I've never heard anybody say that. So now, how do you guys feel about talking about your business out and about?
I'm not totally uncomfortable with it. I just don't think I've been in a situation where that's happened yet, where I've needed to or felt like I could.
I'm going to go previous because I want to go back to this one here. I would recommend to each one of you, because you all are relative. Bethany, you're the one that's, Jennifer, you guys, you started before Bethany, I think. You guys are both like November, December timeframe. I would pick one of these that really resonates with you. Bethany, I think you said I help people discover their inner Rachel Ray, or whoever your chef is. But take one of these, write it down, and actually, as you're going through it, in your head, between now, just kind of tweak it, get comfortable with it, so you can actually have conversations with people about this. So when you're out and about, you are going to be feeling comfortable. Okay. All right. So let me go on to talk about bookings at your shows. Honestly, we're going to talk about a little formula 2, 2, 2. Okay. Magic number is 2. First of all, when you go to every party, and this kind of goes back to last week, Jennifer, were you able to listen to the homework from or the call from last week?
I have not yet, no.
Okay, and Maggie hasn't either. So hopefully you guys, what I told Maggie is before you do the homework for this week, I would recommend going back. Kind of each of these weeks do build on each other. We talked a lot about belief. So one of the things that kind of goes along with this, if you are thinking about 2 books from every party, and you're actually working with your host during host coaching, which that's going to be next week's subject, we're really going to work on closing a party, having at least 2 bookings for every party before you close it. I did a party last Tuesday. It's a very good party sales-wise. There was a lot of people there. But so far, I don't have a solid booking yet. And we're going to be wrapping things up today or tomorrow, right? So I want to be able to get 2 bookings added to that party. So tomorrow, midday-ish, after a meeting I have and an appointment, I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to call those people because I want to get 2 bookings from that party. Really, ideally, if you get booking parties and a catalog party from each party, what are you doing? You're growing, right? You want to at least replace each party because if you go to if you go to at least 2 parties in a row and you're not getting bookings, first thing you need to do is connect with your director. Honestly, at the stage of the game where you all are, if you go to one party and you don't get a booking, contact us. Reach out because we want to give you ideas. Now, one thing that you can do too, maybe it's not a booking from the people that were at that party if you've done a full service checkout and asked everybody, but you can make some customer care calls. So you want to replace that booking and then you want to add one. That's going to help you grow your business. Okay. So that's really the name of the game is just being able to grow your business. All right. The catalog parties, the virtual parties, some people make a huge business out of virtual parties. For me, I do better because I've been doing it for so long at the cooking parties. I do love my virtual parties though, because I usually have a couple at least each month and it is perfect. It's almost like adding it one large party when you add them together or, a couple of nice parties onto your sales each month. Okay. Now, we talked a little bit about this before and we kind of talked a little bit about this. So when you are going in kind of to a party with the mindset of, I'm going to get 2 bookings from this party, there's going to be at least 2 people here that want to invite me to their home and want to help me. Now, one of the things that we can do, and I'll put this list on our 6 Weeks to Success page, but here are some things I'm just going to list off kind of quickly. Host coaching. And again, that's next week's call. So definitely listen to last week's call and do that homework. Do the homework from this week so you'll be ready to go by next week because we're going to be talking about host coaching. Showing up on time to your parties. Making sure your dishes are clean. Sometimes I will say I keep my bag mainly in my pantry on the ground. We have a black dog. She sheds. Now, there have been times, especially if it's like been a long weekend, I do 2 parties during the week, but then maybe it's 5 or 6 days since I've done a party, and I pull my bag out to start packing for my next party. I found some dog hairs in my bag. Gross. I mean, she's a clean dog and all that, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I make sure I wash off my products. Most of the time, my products are kind of being used and they're not really in that bag. But do you know what I mean? You don't want to go to somebody's house and you pull out a product that, has a carrot stuck to it or a dog hair on it, right? So make sure your products are clean. Make sure you're dressed appropriately. There was a time that we wore dresses and hose and heels. And what? But I wear nice jeans. When my kids were little, I made sure I didn't have a shirt that had like the spit up on the collar, on the shoulder, like I tend to always have. Smell good. When you're at your parties, design your recipes around power tools. You want to create a desire for people to want to book a show. Make your host feel special and appreciated. Go over the bookings several times in your opening. Let people know. I've heard this recently. Some people even say at the beginning, our goal tonight is to have at least 2 bookings from this party for the next couple of months. So be looking tonight as you're making your wish list. You might be one of those 2 people that books a party. Okay? So kind of set that stage at the beginning. And then you're creating a fun atmosphere. You're praising the host. You're going to have a full service checkout. you're going to ask if people aren't interested in a party, say, you know what, is that no, not now or no, not ever? Because sometimes, depending on what party they've been to in the past, they might be like, I can't do a party next week. But maybe you're looking at February, not necessarily looking at next week. I guess February is next week at this point. But you know what I'm saying? Like, just ask them, is that no, not now or no, not ever? I've had somebody say to me once, oh, I just can't do anything until like March 1st. You know, no worries. You know, we're almost to February now. Let's go ahead and look at March. And you know what I mean? So just try to ask those clarifying questions. Know about your products. That kind of goes back from last week too. You want to smile. You want to be friendly. People are going to want to come to your house or want to invite you into their house to meet their friends when you are building a rapport. Okay. The other thing is have your calendar ready and clear. You don't have to bring your whole calendar. Oh shoot, I had my little paper here. Sometimes, right here. Sometimes I'll just bring a paper that looks like this, and it just has February dates and March dates. And I'll just bring my open dates to my party. So they're not necessarily looking at my whole calendar. If I am calling and making phone calls on my calendar, I like to make sure I have these are my dates that I have open. They don't have any names on those. Those are open green dates. This one's already filled. You see what I'm saying? But you don't even have to bring your whole calendar. Just bring the list of your dates that you have open. They don't have to necessarily know what else is going on in your week. Okay? So, let's go on here. Okay. So start saying on the way to every party. This is that power of positive thinking. The first call, we talked about how you can train your brain. You can kind of get out of that negative thinking and really use your brain to your advantage, okay? So this is the belief system. Stop saying I wish and start saying I will, okay? And I don't know if you guys saw, but our cover photo for this group says I'm possible. So in this particular picture here, it shows taking off the impossible, but you can also add a little apostrophe between the I and the M, and then it's I'm possible, right? So you're good to go. Anybody have any questions so far?
Nope.
Like, okay, we got this. Okay. So here's the belief pillars that Bethany had mentioned. We talked a lot about belief. I feel like the homework from last week and really the products, and I tell you what, getting into my kitchen and playing with the products, these new spring products I just got, I'm going to be using at my house this week, and really just that excitement and that just the recipes and trying out new things really helps to increase your passion. Of these, really, skill is probably the simplest one because you can go onto PCU, you can learn about bookings, you can listen to a video, you can watch a video or listen to a recording and get that skill. But belief and passion are things that you they're more internal, right? Whereas skill is external. So really use our team page too and use your directors to really help build up those internal things if you're kind of feeling like you're lacking. Okay. So do you guys find yourself passionate about our products?
I know, I always loved Pampered Chef because my mom grew up buying Pampered Chef. But after becoming a consultant, I definitely love it more. You know, finding new recipes to use all the time with the stuff that I got in my kit. Mm-hmm. I love it.
And isn't it exciting sharing with other people?
Yeah, it is. Because I'm like, oh, I tell people, I'm like, I didn't use my manual food processor for a year because I didn't know what to do with it. But then I became a consultant and I found all these recipes and I'm like, why haven't I been using this?
See? And it's one of those things where I think that's what makes our parties so good because people can get hands-on with the tools. And I think what you said just now, Bethany, I don't know if you guys heard it, Jennifer and Maggie, but I felt passion and excitement in her voice. So when you're talking to people and saying, oh my gosh, that's even good with follow-up phone calls. Have you gotten that manual food processor out of the box? I tell you, it took me a year before I used it because I wasn't exactly sure what to do. I'd love to give you some ideas. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Are you passionate about our bookings? I don't know how you could have parties in January and not be passionate about booking, about our hostess program. I mean, my hostess the other night, $630 in free products. $530 to close out in free product. Okay.
That would be so awesome.
Amazing. So, really, if you need help, kind of just let's be brainstorming. I mean, sometimes just the threads. I tell you what, our snowball fight on the team page gets me excited, right? And it makes me be like, oh, they're booking shows. I better get on the phone. I need to book some parties, right? So here's the thing. You can find your passion a lot of different ways, all right? Let's see here. Okay, here's some questions that I want you to answer.
Can you send me that little picture?
This one?
Yeah.
Yes, I will. I'll post it on our 6 weeks to success page.
Okay.
Okay. So, kind of going back from our call last week. Some of these questions again, and Maggie and Jennifer, you're just hearing these for the first time. Do I believe in our company and what they stand for? Do I believe in our products? They can save time, money, relieve stress. Do I believe in our host program? Do I believe in this business opportunity? Do I believe that people can start a business very easily and actually contribute right away to their income, to their family budget? Okay, and sometimes you need to do a little rechecks on this. And if you don't, pull up that calendar or that catalog and go to the back if you're not really sure what our host program does. Go back and watch a video if you're really not sure about a product and you need some kind of help with that. Okay. Any questions? Comments? Okay. There is a lot of scripts too for booking parties on PCU underneath the resources. And I will, I can post those links on the 6 weeks to success page too, but where you can just go and get some scripts, personalize them, say them out loud a couple of times in front of a mirror before you actually pick up the phone to call, because you don't want it to sound like you're reading from a paper. You want to have that you want to make them your words, right? Now, here are some ways to find some passion. This is a long list, I know. Number one, and you'll be hearing us talk about this a lot, national conference is a great way to find passion. It's a great way to be inspired and motivated. It is happening August 3rd through 5th. We'll go in on the 2nd. My director, who's a national executive director, and several others usually do a huge pre-conference workshop that all of us last year were like, oh my gosh, if we left right now, it was totally worth it. I mean, it was just incredible information. Go through Pampered Chef University again, or go the rest of the way through. Take another course. The resources are fantastic. YouTube videos, Sharon Zellen, Penny Parks, Penny EY and Parks with an ES. Great. Christine Maniscalco. There's just some really good Pampered Chef YouTube videos out there. Play with your tools at home. Attend our meeting. When's our next meeting?
Monday. Next Monday.
Wait from tomorrow. Yeah. February 6th, and it's going to be a fun one. Listening to training calls. So homework from last week, or the call from last week, this week. Batter Bowl Buddy. Now, this is kind of fun. And actually, I think somebody had posted something on our team page. Right now, kind of your Batter Bowl Buddies, if you will, is your 6 weeks to success group. I think there's like a dozen of us on the team, 4 of us that are directors, and then the rest are consultants just like you all. I know Laura had somewhere she had to be tonight, so she can't go. So there's a lot of different ideas that you can use for finding your passion. Any questions? I know we started a little bit late, but I think we're going a little bit.
No.
Say that the next 6 weeks call is February 6th?
No, our team meeting, that's at my house. That's where we're all going to come together at my house. That's Monday, February the 6th. Now, I'm glad you mentioned it, Maggie, because our next 6 weeks call is scheduled for next Sunday evening, which is Super Bowl Sunday. It's also my son's 12th birthday, so we're gonna have about a dozen 11, 12-year-olds at my house. I put a poll out on the 6 weeks page, and it looks like the most popular time is 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday the 4th. Now, it will be recorded, but I'm thinking because Super Bowl and it's going to, I don't know if anybody really has a favorite team that's playing this year, but because most people, aren't necessarily at home, we thought it would be good to move it. So we're doing it Saturday morning at 10 a.m. is when our next call.
Okay.
And then the following Sunday evening will be the 12th. Okay. So I'll post this too. You're going to listen to an audio about bookings. These are two of my friends, Susan Morshey and Missy Eltz, and they do a fantastic job. They have very strong calendars, top sellers, and I think you'll really be able to glean a lot from their experience. And then you'll want to make sure to connect with your director. So Jennifer and Maggie, just message Megan and just find a time that is good for you guys to be able to connect with her. Definitely watch the recording from last week. I would watch the recording from last week and maybe do at least the homework from last week before connecting with her this week. Okay? All right. And thanks for coming, girls.
Thanks, Christy.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I think did I not record this?
I think you did.
Yes, yay. Oh, Jordana, come on.
Hi.
Okay, I'm going to